Okay, so let's talk about some of the matchups that we have already locked in. So we'll start with the Lakers. They ended up clinching the third seed, and they're going
Crazy.
against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who squeezed back into sixth spot. Right. So, how many games is that series going to go? Who do you got as the winner, and what kind of surprises or what do you expect out of that series?
Bruh. Like, bruh, I expect. Okay, so I expect it's gonna come down to Rudy. You know what I'm trying to say? It's gonna come down to whether he can stay on the floor or not. Because
Mm,
if they go on the pick and roll and switch on him and embarrass him and
of
blow
course.
by him, he's it's gonna be pointless for him to be on the court, and it kind of levels the playing field for the Lakers because obviously the Lakers don't really have any of those big bodies. They have smart defenders. They got big guys, but they don't got tall guys, whatever, outside of Jackson
Yeah.
Hayes. So if they can get Rudy out of the, you know, out of the game, then, bro, the Lakers are gonna control, bro. Right now, I'm saying Lakers in six. That's what I'm saying right now.
Lakers
Like,
in six.
bro, it's just Ant. I respect Ant, bro. I respect Ant, but Julius Randle, I don't really know what he can do in the playoffs. Rudy, like I said, he's a liability potentially, and that will hurt them because the Timberwolves are one of the better defensive teams. But if they don't have their anchor, then there's a little bit sorry, they'll be compromised a bit there.
Okay. So you got Lakers in six. I was gonna say five.
Yeah. Oh, this guy
Just
said
because
Lakers are fine.
five because this is a different Laker team. This reminds me of like early 2000s Laker team where they're like, okay, we're okay with being second or third. We know that we're the most dangerous team in the Western final, in the Western Conference. That's the vibe that I get when you have a LeBron and Luca dynamic with a refreshed, resurged LeBron. That like you're gonna see a little bit of a turn back in the clock when it comes to LeBron because he's gonna be like, okay, let's done this team and you know, like this has been the first time in a long time he could do his work early and if he does his simple work, is done with. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're not dealing with Denver and Jokic in the first round and AD and whatever. Like you got Luca and you're LeBron and you're the third seed. You have home court advantage. You're playing a team that doesn't really even have the motion like that. Like they lost a lot of motion when Cat got traded. Like I'm sorry, that took away a lot of their kind
I
of
did.
fluidity of basketball. So I think they're gonna get ripped apart with JJ Redick as a coach. I think JJ is gonna have
Mm,
no issue taking Rudy out of the game. I think they're
facts.
gonna
Yeah.
let Anthony Edwards shoot 15 threes.
You think so?
They're gonna let him shoot 15 threes.
He's immature. Yeah.
20
He's gonna do it,
threes.
eh? He's gonna do it, bro. He's
He's
gonna take
gonna
the
do it.
shots.
He's gonna do it. And he's gonna win game three like that, dropping 48 points, but it's not gonna last long. Like it's not gonna last
Take
long at all. They're gonna probably he's gonna have a bad shooting game, but like I get it. He shoots pretty good in terms of like 3 point percentage, and he
Yeah.
was the number one 3 point. He has number 3 points made this year. He's number one. And playoffs is gonna be different, man. Playoffs that stuff is gonna get shut down. It's gonna be a much more pressure. Like, and I've seen Anthony Edwards shoot those shots. Those are regular season shots.
He's got the playoffs. He can't do that. He
Playoffs
can't
is
even make
not
those
gonna. It's
type of
not gonna
shots.
fly there. It's not gonna fly like that. You're gonna get off one game, and maybe it's gonna be game three because you're back home, and you're down 2-0, and you gotta pull one out. You're gonna get one of those game three or four out, and then you're done by game five when they go back to LA.
Damn. Damn.
Rudy's not gonna be a factor. What's his name is not gonna be a factor. Julius Randle, come on,
I know. Yeah. Yo, there's a reason why the Knicks traded him,
come
bro.
on. Yeah, yeah. Like this team will not last long. They're gonna get demoralized after game two.
Game one.
They're gonna get I want to say game one because they're probably gonna get slapped game one. They're
Oh
gonna
my
get
goodness.
demoralized even more because they're gonna lose game two after their best effort. They're gonna squeeze one out game three or game four, and then it's come back to LA and it's done. Lakers in five.
Damn.
Yeah,
Oh, the guy said
Lakers
Lakers
in
in five.
five.
Guy pulled a
Lakers
Shannon
in
Sharp, yo.
five.
Oh
Five.
man, that's crazy.
And I usually
No,
go
yeah, dude.
Lakers in six, but no. Sorry, go on.
was just saying, no, I have to agree with you. Like everything you said, like the Timberwolves, they're not the same team as last season, of course. Rudy's gonna play a big part if they have a chance. But JJ Redick, he's clearly a great coach. Even in his first season, and he's gonna dissect them. And Rudy's gonna be on the bench, and it's gonna be a level playing field. And from there, what? Even you put your best defender on Luca, LeBron's available. You put him on LeBron, Luca's available. Even you put your top two defenders on Luca and LeBron, you got Austin Reeves.
He's gonna
You
be
could drop a
two.
25 on your head
Yeah,
easily. You know what I'm trying to say? So
yeah,
Anthony Edwards, he's great and everything like that, but he needs a team more tailored around him in
yeah,
order, I guess, to be one of the upper echelon teams for sure. But yeah, Lakers are six for me though.
yeah. Okay, okay, cool. So, we saw. I don't know if you watched the game yesterday, but that was between Golden State and the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I
Big
watched
game
it.
for the seventh seed, and Golden State won. Now they're gonna play the Houston Rockets, who, although they're the second team in the West, have a 1.5% chance of winning the Western Conference or winning the chip. So,
Mm.
how do you see that series going? 7-2 between Houston and Golden State.
I see it kind of like the Lakers and Timberwolves in a sense because the Rockets, like outside of Van Fleet, nobody's really been there. You know what I'm trying to say? Their coach has been there obviously
Yeah,
to the
the
finals and
coach
stuff
is
like
gonna
that, but
say.
the actual players on the court, it's been Van Fleet, and pretty much. So I'm going with the Warriors in six. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah.
I think the Rockets will have a couple good games against the Warriors because their defense is elite and stuff like that. And they just
Mm-hmm.
shut down Curry the other day for 3 points, I think, at the beginning
Yep.
of April or something like that. So
Yep.
they've shown that they could probably, shut down the Golden State Warriors. But bro, in the playing game last night, bro, we saw Jimmy Butler, bro, playoff Jimmy. The man scored his most points in a Golden State Warriors uniform in a
Yeah.
play in yeah, in a playing game, sorry. So I'm gonna use the experience, playoff Jimmy, Steph Curry hitting those big shots. We've seen him hit big shots throughout the playoffs and stuff like that, so he's not scared. Draymond looks, pretty good on that side of the floor and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with six, yo. I'm definitely going yeah, Golden State in six.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree because it's not gonna be a rollover like T
No.
Wolves. Houston has a lot of heart. They have a great coach who's gonna be able to make the right calls and the right kind of adjustments game after game. They bring the right energy through a lot of different players. They have Dylan Brooks, who's I think is a great playoff player when the time comes. He does some of the plays that he makes does shift the momentum. It does shift how the game is playing. I don't know if it's Asar or Amin Thompson, the Thompson brother,
Amen. Amen Thompson.
right? So he's a great defensive player. He's gonna make it very difficult for that team because you know Golden State it still isn't that well-rounded team that like we're used to seeing like with the death lineup where they had like DeMarcus Cousins and KD and stuff like that. So they really have Jimmy and Curry, and there are times where they will struggle.
Yeah.
I still have them going forward because of their playoff experience and what to do playoff Jimmy and all that stuff. And Steph is quite the killer when it comes to first round matchups as well. So yeah, I got them in six as well. I got them in six
Yeah.
for sure.
But I did circle this series um as a potential upset. Like I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if the Rockets won because if Steph's shot's not is not hitting right, and I think Steph's thumb's injured on his shooting hand, I
yeah,
believe right now. So even
yeah,
though he hit some big shots last night, in that game, it could compromise them a little bit and stuff like that.
facts.
And the Rockets have the defense. You know what I'm trying to say? They do have Jalen Green and Sengun and stuff like that. Franz Van Fleet was played pretty good defense on Curry in the 2019 playoffs, I'm trying to say in the finals, whatever.
Yeah,
So they have the tools. It's the youth and the
yeah,
inexperience that I'm scared of. I'm trying to say that
yeah.
that's why I have to be like, I don't know, like the Warriors may have this, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a potential upset though at the same time.
It's funny you call it an upset because they're the second seed. Of course they should win.
Okay, no. I hear what you're saying. You're right. They're the second seed, but if we prorate what the Golden State Warriors with Jimmy Butler looks like, I'm pretty sure their win percentage would
Okay.
probably be better than the Houston Rockets. You know what I'm trying to say? So I understand what you're saying, but I know I'm disrespecting them by saying it's an upset because at the end of the day, dog, no matter what, they're still second, right? You're still second. So you're definitely right. But I just think the Warriors are just a little bit just more experience in that respect.
You know what? Yeah, I hear you. I agree. It just kind of brings me back to that final game between, like game 82 between Golden State and the Clippers, and that was
Yeah.
to
True game.
determine who was in, sixth, seventh, or fourth, fifth seed or whatever. And the fact that Golden State lost that game had them end up in the play-in game and in seventh seed, and then they locked up seventh seed. But if they won, they would have ended up as the sixth seed, and they would have played the Lakers in the first round.
Mm,
And I knew from when I knew that was the statistic, or that's what how it would have played out. I'm like, okay, then they're gonna lose this game because they're not gonna play the Lakers in the first round. That's more of like a semis matchup kind of
right.
thing. The NBA definitely wanted that to happen, so I thought,
Don't
like,
kill me.
between the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors, that's a pretty interesting matchup too. Like, that's gonna be
Yeah,
a very great matchup. Um,
fact.
so yeah, I just knew that they're gonna lose that game once I saw how the dominoes were gonna fall. And there you go. So speaking of the Clippers, they are playing the they're not
Denver
playing
Nuggets.
OKC. Oh, they're playing Denver. So that's the 4-5, right? Yeah, sorry, that's the 4-5.
Yeah, 4-5. Yeah, yeah,
How is that series gonna go? Now that Kawhi is back, he's been around for, I don't know, 25, 30 games. Norman Powell's still balling. James Harden is, kind of peaking right now. Zubac,
Potential All NBA, potential All
right?
NBA, I potential,
Right? So how do we see that one going?
bro. Honestly,
Tough
man,
one.
this series is like I don't know, bro. I don't know what to think because I don't know what the Nuggets are gonna bring. I know what Jokic will bring, but I don't know about Porter. I don't know about Murray, and I don't know about Gordon. And even Westbrook, bro. He's an X factor in this as well. Like on both sides. Like he could be the reason why they're not gonna win, and he also could be the reason why they potentially could win.
Hmm.
I don't know, bro. Like I scrambled this in my mind because Kawhi is looking like peak Kawhi again. You know what I'm trying to say? But, like the Clippers have the defense. Like I said, James Harden is looking like not prime James Harden, but a like a really good version of himself or whatever. He's not looking like he's aging right now. And Zubac, you know what I'm trying to say? But nobody can stop Jokic. That's the problem. Like Zubac is a great
Yeah.
defender. He's a traditional big, but I don't know. There's something about Jokic, bro, that like just can't be stopped.
Hmm.
With that being said, bro, Denver Nuggets in 7, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not even like confident about that, bro. Like that's just I'm just thinking in the seventh game, I think these teams are just evenly matched, and I just think in the seventh game, like I just think that Jokic would be the best player on the floor, and they would just win, bro. Like I don't know. That's just what I'm feeling, dog. I don't know.
Okay. Jokic is definitely the best player on the court. I think I agree with your point with, you don't know what Denver's going to bring. And I think just when you cut the head off the body, meaning the coach, a week ago, not even a week ago, and clearly there's some dismay on the team. I think it's gonna be a classroom unsupervised. When you walk into a classroom, there's kids just running around because there's no teachers. Teacher
Okay,
stepped
like
out for 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
I don't think it's gonna be as organized playoff basketball as we're gonna expect from the Denver Nuggets. And for that reason, when you have Ty Lue as the coach for
Good coach.
Clippers, and you have Kawhi, Norman Powell, um, James Harden, I think don't worry, like they're gonna get a good run. They're like, they're still gonna be a problem. I don't want to say Denver's not gonna be a problem, but I think that they know that this year is done for them, and they may just lay
Mm,
on they may just lay down. Um, they know they're not winning, and they know that there's gonna be some moves. So I think that's bad for the locker room. I think the other team's gonna, like, if the I don't know how you're gonna capitalize off that, but I think that, like, it's a little bit of a wound to an animal, just in the wilderness. So you take advantage of that somehow, some way. Ty Lue will. I think they'll wrap it up in 6. It'll be a tough series, but I think they'll wrap it up at home in 6 because they're the 5th seed, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Denver's
yeah,
4th, right? Denver's 4,
yeah,
Clippers are 5. Yeah, so
yeah.
Denver have home court advantage in that aspect. Well, no, I hear you still. Like, like I said, I'm not really mad at that because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what version of the Nuggets we're gonna get. There is a little bit of optimism after they fired their coach. Like they went on like a 3-game winning streak or something like that after going like on a little bit of a losing slide. So I guess there's a little bit
Hmm.
of optimism there that they kind of maybe they figure out something, or maybe it was the coach. Like who knows? Like maybe when players check out with their coach, bro, it shows on the court. You know what I'm trying to say? And sometimes a personnel
Facts.
change can just maybe turn something back on in their minds. Like I said, I don't know, but I'm just going with the fact that like Jokic, best player. I don't know. Kawhi might, land awkwardly and game 3 he's out, game 4 he's out. Like you know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm not trying to pray that on
Yeah,
the man. I'm just trying to say like this is what we've seen the past few years, you know what I'm trying to say? So but
true.
I'm not mad at the Clippers, like people thinking the Clippers can win because like I said, if Jamal Murray doesn't come and drop his 25, 26, 28 points, like Jokic could drop 60, 20, and 20. They're probably still not going to win because he what he dropped like 60, 20, and or whatever. He dropped 61 in that big triple
Yeah, he
double, and they
did
still end
60,
up
20,
losing that
20.
game. Like, they
Yeah.
end up still losing that game, bro. So, like, the other guys need to show up
Jeez,
for sure.
for real, for real. Okay. So I think well that's the 3 series in the West Coast. Now in the East end of things, probably the most interesting series that I can't really wait for in the East between the New York Knicks
I
and
knew
the
it. I knew
Detroit
it.
Pistons.
I knew it.
So New York is what, sitting at third?
Third, yeah.
I believe they're sitting at third, and Detroit is the 6th seed.
Correct, yeah.
But I don't know. I think I have my money on the Detroit Pistons right now.
Ooh,
I don't know.
yikes.
I think Brunson gets one thing about Detroit, they really embody that kind of 90s kind of Motown Detroit Piston team, like the bullies of the league. They have a lot of strong guys on that team. That is like it's gonna remind me a lot of the when remember when Toronto used to lose to Washington and we were
Mhm.
like the third, second seed or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we were just like outmatched by like Rui Hachimura and Bradley Beal when they were like defensive guys, and John Wall did what he did. Detroit's gonna do something along those lines where they get really physical with these, 6'1" Jalen Brunson and like this soft Carl Anthony Towns. That
Oh, God, Kaka.
is not gonna be easy at all. Like they're gonna be banged up every single
Mm.
game. Cade Cunningham is like a 6'8" point guard.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The matchup between him and Brunson is crazy.
The matchup is gonna be insane. Right? So that's just my take. I think it's gonna go either. I think it's gonna go to 7, but I think I'm gonna
Wow.
have Detroit in 7.
Wow. Okay. No, yeah, you know what, bro? Yo, there was there was some type of like bandwagon last season with the Knicks where like everybody was like, yeah, the Knicks are gonna win, the Knicks are gonna win, the Knicks are gonna win, and obviously they didn't. And then they got
Yeah.
Towns and they got Bridges, whatever, and now everybody's saying all of a sudden like they're supposed to be quote unquote better on paper, but and now
Yeah.
everybody's saying I don't know, the Knicks could potentially lose to the Pistons. You know what I'm trying to say? The Pistons did win the season series 3-1. You know what I'm trying to say? So there is some cause to be concerned of like, oh, I don't know, the Pistons, might actually beat the Knicks in the first round. I don't know. I don't know. For the first time, I might stick up for the Knicks, and try to say I don't know if I believe that. Um, I think the Knicks will win in 5 games. I literally think the Knicks will win in 5 games. I think Brunson and Cat will be the more so Brunson will be the best player on the court. I think inexperience is going to hurt the Detroit Pistons. They were a team last year that barely won any games, and stuff like that, and they
Yeah.
turned it around and now the 6th seed. That needs to be celebrated for sure. But I don't know. I just think when it comes to the experience and stuff like that, and those little things that need to be done to win a series, I think the Knicks have been there. They've done that, and I don't know if the Pistons like I don't know. I don't trust anybody outside of Cade Cunningham right now, offensively. Anyways, I'll give
Yeah.
him his respect, but I don't know if I can
Yeah.
trust anybody else on that team.
Okay, yeah,
So
fair
yeah,
enough.
Knicks
I think
Knicks in 5.
they probably will have some like offensive. woes that they gotta get over. I think it's gonna be. I like the point that you just made about like New York being better on paper. I expected a lot more from them. I expected a
I think we all
lot
did.
more from them, and that's why I think I'm taken away before I get even disappointed even more. Um,
Okay.
I expect Detroit to come out and expect to win. I think, but I think they're gonna expect to win, but know that they have work to do. I think New York is gonna expect to win and think it's gonna be easier than what they're gonna walk into. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Um, yeah,
Even though
that's
they
gonna be an
lost
interesting
3-1
series.
though in the regular season though, like, do you think the Knicks still believe that even though they like like they got washed in the regular season? You know what I'm trying to say? So like
Yeah,
on like it shows that we lost. It's not like we swept the Detroit Pistons and we're like, won the Pistons. You know what I'm trying to say? Like we lost
yeah.
3 times.
I don't know how how much they remember that. Like how obviously that's what we kind of look at. I don't know how deeply they feel that they're a team that is to be worried about because regular season, October, November, games get lost in the sauce kind of. I think
True.
they circle certain games. Maybe they'll look back at that now, but I don't think they'll recall being like absolutely better than the Detroit Pistons or the other way around. I think that's going to be a little bit of wash. I think Detroit's going to have a little bit more to prove and something on their shoulder. So they're going to come out being like, "Yo, we think we could beat you guys. We're going to give you guys our best shot." Not to say that New York won't, but I think they're going to come out a little bit more lackadaisical, expecting to win. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the personnel. Maybe it's just the personnel.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just like
Outside of
the
Brunson, yeah,
yeah,
the rest of yeah, it's true. It's true. I guess I'm just looking at it from like the Knicks have great perimeter players, even though defense has probably not been their
yeah,
MO this season, but they have OG, they have Bridges
facts.
who they can kind of throw at Cade Cunningham, try to say. Obviously Brunson's not guarding Cunningham at all. Like they're gonna do it so like, those wing guys are gonna be on him and stuff like that. So I guess that's what I'm
Hmm.
kind of looking at as well. And but yeah, I see everybody's talking though. Everybody's talking about the Pistons. Everybody's saying, this could be a upset and stuff like that. And I'm trying to say, and I get why people are against the Knicks. The Knicks haven't beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. They haven't beat the Boston Celtics. They haven't beat the OKC Thunder. They've only beat Detroit once. So like the
Damn.
better teams, they haven't beaten. You know what I'm trying to say? So I
Yeah.
understand people being like, oh, like I don't know about the Knicks, trying to say, but I'm not disrespecting Detroit's talent. I'm just a guy who's like kind of old school going when it comes to the experience in the playoffs and those lights are bright. I don't know.
Hmm.
I just Detroit Pistons. I just don't know if they're gonna come out and come out on top. But it's definitely gonna be a series I'm gonna watch like every
Yeah.
game for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So probably the least. How do I put this?
Yeah.
The least. I mean, I'm not gonna watch the series. Let me just say it like that.
This guy's
Between
calm
the
down.
Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers, I mean, I'm just gonna come out and say I think the Bucks are gonna win that one. Even though Dame won't
Okay.
start the playoffs, and they probably have to have a deep run for him to potentially even come back because they didn't completely take him out. Um, but I think Milwaukee's still gonna win. I
Mm.
don't believe in the Pacers at all. I don't. They have a couple guys, Matherin and
Siakam,
yeah, no, but uh,
yeah. This guy's like, I don't know about those guys though.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, they're a team that they play complete offense, and that just goes away in the playoffs because it's more matchups and lockdown defense. Everyone's playing the higher intensity. So I just don't like their whole style of the organization. Like it's not. It's fun for the regular season, but it's not going to win you any accolades, any titles, or anything like that. So I don't know. I have them out as a first round knockout for sure.
In how many games?
Give them 6 games. Give them five. Give them 6 games. Give them 6 games.
This guy said they can win too. Oh man. No, I hear you still. I don't know. I have the Pacers in six in the reverse. Just because like I don't think Giannis enough offensively is going to be enough to be able to put them over the hump. Um, the Pacers do have Halliburton, Mathurin, and Siakam as offensive weapons. You know what I'm trying to say? Um,
Mhm.
because Dame is out, their guard plays very weak. Like they don't really have anything come out of the guard. I get Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing, well. Gary Trent can drop 2 points this game, 25 the next. Like you don't really know what you're gonna
Yeah,
get from him and stuff like that. So I think they have the advantage in their guard play and stuff like that. Um, if Dame does come back, which actually I'm shocked about. First of all, I'm shocked about that if he's able to even come
yeah,
back for the first series, but first round, sorry. But if he is to come back, like, is he going to be in game shape? Is he going to be ready to play basketball at a high level? I don't know. You know what
exactly.
I'm trying to say? Because I'm not sure if he can even play right now. Can he? I don't even know if he can even overexert
I don't
himself.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah, so like I don't know. But I'll give the Bucks, respect. Like when Dame went down, I recall saying like the optimism is that the offense would probably like everybody is well aware where the offense is going through. Everybody knows it's going through Giannis and nobody else. You know what I'm trying to say? The Bucks ended the season on an 8 game winning streak. You know what I'm trying to say? So like that's pretty big, and without Dame Lillard in the lineup, you know what I'm
facts.
trying to say. So
Mhm.
so like there is that. I guess people more know how to play their role when I guess Giannis and Dame are on the court together. Because even when Dame plays without Giannis, sometimes like the Milwaukee Bucks win as well. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Um, so they have a chance. Giannis is, to me, anyways, the second best player in the league. So when you have the first or second best player in the league, you always like I always give them a little bit of respect, saying, okay, we'll see what happens. But I think offensively, I think the Indiana Pacers are just so much more stronger.
mm. Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Uh,
So I know that Cleveland is still waiting on the eighth seed, which is going to be decided probably tomorrow night. But Orlando beat Atlanta for the seventh seed, so they're going to be playing against Boston in the first round. I know. I think they're still short manned. Like I think like Jalen Suggs is still out, and
yeah, he's out.
one of the Wagner brothers, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
towards ACL or something. Yeah.
yeah, right. So he's out. He'll come back next year. But what kind of they got Paolo Carroll back. We saw Cole Anthony playing yesterday. Very passionate basketball. That
Mhm.
young guy. What's the name? Dinwiddie, not Dinwiddie, but I'm blanking on his name. But he plays like kind of power forward or like center. Young guy. But they're playing with a
Okay.
lot of energy right now. Do you think they're gonna give Boston a run for their money in the first round?
Nah, nah, man. I don't know. Orlando. I don't know. Even like last night, like you saw some of their flaws. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like if Bankero's not going, if Franz Wagner is not going, like, like Atlanta kept the game interesting. Like I get it,
yeah.
Orlando pulled away, but the reason why Atlanta kept it close was like Orlando has those stretches where they can't score,
They
and when you
stalled.
go up against Boston Celtics, one of the best offensive teams in NBA history, not just like
Yeah,
this season, just NBA history in itself. Like you'll be lucky if you get one game. You know what I'm trying to say? That's a sweep for me.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I I don't believe in Orlando. Like they started the season very well, but then he got injured. Sorry, Banchero got injured, and then his the Wagner brothers got injured and stuff like that. Like this year's not their year. Maybe they need one more piece to kind of maybe elevate it. You know what I'm trying to say? I like Anthony Black. You know what I'm trying to say? 6'7" guard and stuff like that. And stuff like
yeah,
that. I like them as a future team coming up, but bro, I'd be surprised if they win one game. Let's just put it that way.
yeah, yeah. No, they may
I'll be
be able to
surprised.
squeeze out one, maybe. It'll take a
Maybe.
lot of like wrongdoing on Boston side for that to happen. Not even. I don't think it's in Orlando's hands. I think it's whether Orlando wins is still in Boston's hands.
Okay.
But I think you know what, all that slander we used to have for Boston. Like I know I used to rip them apart. I think they got over that hump last year when they won. I think that added a lot of experience to them. So I think they're gonna all those like immature mistakes that they're making. I think those are kind of over and done with. I think it
True,
really
true.
just depends on if they're hitting their shots or not, and they're still gonna play that statistical game where they're gonna jack up 50, 63 a game, right? And if they're just off, maybe Orlando wins one game, but
Yeah.
yeah, as you said, Orlando stalls. They have those periods where they don't score for 5, 6 minutes. You can't really do that against Boston. I mean, I went to a Raptors game and watched Orlando like give up a 20-point lead against the
Yeah.
Raptors, and like that's just
Exactly.
not acceptable at all. Like that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna go far against the Boston Celtics. So,
Facts, facts.
um, yeah, I got them in a sweep, maybe five, maybe 5.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah, that's just being generous, man.
yeah. Okay, so I mean, like that pretty much covers the first round series. What team is gonna shock you the most out of these 16 teams that well, we started kind of like 18 because we're waiting for number 8 seeds, but which team is gonna surprise you the most? Meaning, like they're gonna go the furthest, and you didn't expect them to go that far.
That team, okay, that team probably could be for me, even though I picked the Nuggets to win, it could be the Clippers. I think if the Clippers are healthy and Kawhi is yo, I get it. I get it. Kawhi's been injured for so long, like his value is taking a hit. I totally understand that. But if Kawhi is Kawhi, which he's shown since he's come back from his injury,
Yeah,
and James Harden is playing like close to prime James Harden, where he's playmaking, hitting in shots. James Harden doesn't have to be the number one now. You know what I'm trying to say? It's
yeah,
clearly Kawhi, which takes pressure off James Harden to do what he needs to do and stuff like that. Like they have all the pieces to get to an NBA Finals if everything just
yeah.
made sense for them or like went their way. You know what I'm trying to say? So the
Mm-hmm.
Clippers
Mm-hmm.
are like a dark horse where I'm like, oh, like if I saw the finals, I'm like, oh, you guys made it. But at the same time, too, breaking it down, I could be like, oh, okay, like Kawhi came out. You know, what I'm trying to say James Harden did what he did. Norman Powell
Yeah,
didn't regress. You know, what I'm trying. Zubac played his defense. Chris Dunn playing his defense. You know, what I'm trying to say like
yeah,
I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be. But that's my surprise team too. Sorry, my surprise team. I don't know what you're thinking.
yeah. Honestly, I don't really have a surprise team because I think every team is gonna fall
Mm,
where I think they're gonna fall. It would have to be the Clippers because they're the ones that the forgotten about, the forgottens.
hmm.
So everyone's focused on the Lakers and the OKC and Cleveland and Boston. This is a very mature team. They've been far. They played a lot of playoff basketball. Um, Great coach. They're gonna reduce their lineup to 8 players, 7 players maybe,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's gonna be one of the deadlier 7 players against amongst any of these teams, right? Well rounded. If they show up, they're gonna be a problem for sure,
for sure.
right?
Kawhi Norman, NBA champions. You know what I'm trying to say? And remember also too, I think the reason why they should be a surprise team, where did everybody have the Clippers in their standings at the beginning of the season? I swear everybody said the Clippers were a lottery team. The OKC Thunder were gonna get their pick and blah 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 blah. Like nobody
Yep.
even had them in the playing tournament
Yeah.
because Kawhi was
Yeah.
injured going to the season. Nobody believed in James Harden. James Harden and Norman Powell elevated their play to kind of keep
Yeah.
that team afloat. Like they're not a
Yep.
playing team, bro. Like they finished in the top six. You know what I'm trying to say? So they should just based on that merit get that surprise tag, I guess, if they were to like for a deep playoff run because nobody believed in them. Nobody
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. No, for real. Like they started strong. Norman Powell and
Yeah.
James Harden, and they carried the team. Everyone was playing correctly, and then Kawhi came back. So yeah, they were there the whole time, and nobody. Early on we thought, okay, like OKC's gonna get another nice pick, right? So because when you look at the roster, but then Tyloo kept everyone engaged, and yeah, I think that's gonna be the deadlier team. So if they win against Denver, they would play OKC. So they kind of have
Mm,
a decent route. Obviously, OKC is not a walk in the park, but
facts.
if you're talking from an experience standpoint, that is going to be an issue for OKC. So,
Facts. Facts. Facts.